to one critic, Betrayal has a, quote, starry, pitch, and picture-perfect cast imported from the smash London staging. Now on Broadway, Betrayal stars my next guests, Zawe Ashton, Golden Globe winner Tom Hiddleston, and Charlie Cox. Welcome, y'all.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, so this is all of your Broadway debuts. And Tom, I want to start with you. What do you love the most about performing on Broadway, especially after coming off these big blockbuster films?
Well, I've never done it. I mean, my first came to New York when I was 17, and I remember going to Times Square and seeing all the streets that go off Times Square where all the theaters are, and before I even dreamed of becoming an actor. And Broadway as a community of theater is legendary. And I'd never done it, and what I've discovered is the extraordinary warmth and generosity of the community here. It really feels like a community. Everybody goes to see each other's shows, and it's very exciting. You feel that I know from going to the stage door, people have come in from all over the country and from all over the world. They've come to New York, and they maybe come for a week and pack in lots of shows, and that's been very thrilling, is to be part of this amazing tradition.
Well, thinking about that audience, Zawe, the show comes off of a sold-out run in London. Have you found that performing for British audiences versus American audiences, are they different at all?
I mean, no, they're not different. The play has a lot of London references in it, so there are just lines that will never get a laugh ever again because they're about such specific parts of London. But I think what's amazing is being able to come here and just, as Tom said, just be part of this incredible dynasty. I've been to our theatre and seen some of the best Broadway shows that I've ever seen, and so walking in and suddenly becoming part of that firmament is incredible. And I also think we just didn't want to stop doing it. We wanted to carry on. So the fact that we get to extend and deepen the roles and keep exploring the depth of this incredible play is just a blessing.
Well, we actually have a teaser clip of Betrayal. Let's take a look.
Oh, we did.
There are no hard distinctions between what is real and what is unreal, nor between what is true and what is false. Sometimes you feel you have the truth of a moment in your hand, and it slips through your fingers. Our beginnings never know our ends.
Do you like that?
Ooh.
Do you like seeing that? Well, one of the things that I found really fascinating is that this show was actually written in 1978.
Yes.
Certainly at a time when some cultural attitudes around infidelity were different. Also, I think around men and women who engage in infidelity were different. So, Charlie, how does that impact your character?
Oh, wow. You know, I'm amazed, and have been from the beginning of rehearsal, about how much the play seems to transcend the decades that it was written in. It feels there are maybe one or two moments that stand out as being, that maybe date the play a little bit. Zawe talked about, going into American Express to pick up a letter rather than reading a text or something like that. But other than that, the way that the characters communicate, the dynamics of the relationships, obviously the feelings and the emotions, they feel very, very current and very up to date. So, I think that's true of all great art. It feels, it has an element of timelessness about it, and I think this play certainly has that.
So, do you also feel that sense of timelessness? Do you think that our attitudes have shifted a lot since 1978?
Well, what's interesting is being the female component within this betrayal, within the affair, and so answering that question, I feel like also covers this attitudes towards men and women and infidelity that you just posed a second ago. I feel like the best thing about this play is no one is held accountable. I think Pinter is satisfied that all of their lives are going to be ruined in some ways. Would you agree with that? He's sort of satisfied that the pain that they've been through is enough of a punishment, because no one is really singled out as being to blame for the affair. I mean, in many ways, I'm the common denominator in the affair, but I don't feel like there is this huge. I don't feel the pressure of judgment on me actually when I'm in this piece, and I'm really glad of that, because it feels like she's a very modern woman. These two men feel like we all feel like we're in the same sort of era together and escaping any of that judgment, hopefully, from the inside of it anyway.
Yeah, I definitely found myself wondering, like, who is the villain here? Is there a villain here? Like, how is that playing out within this dynamic? So that was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I actually believe what I just said, to be honest. And that's the thing about the play. As soon as you say something definitive about it, you go, actually, the piece just moves. It's a shifting piece, and each night is different, and each night I certainly believe things to be true that on another night maybe aren't. Say something.
Oh, well, I think, well, you
Save me is what you mean.
Well, listen, the last time that this show was on Broadway, a real-life married couple, Daniel Craig and Rachel Weisz, did the show together. Of course, it is such an intimate setting, and romance rumors will fly. So, Tom, can you tell me about your bromance with Charlie? We have photo evidence.
Do we have enough time?
You have photo evidence?
We do. We have photos of them, yeah.
Well, Charlie and I have known each other for a long time. We first met in, oh, look, there we are, look.
Yeah, there you are.
That's recent.
Find someone who looks at you.
It's interesting.
I thought they were going to put out a photo from 2008 or something.
There's some other ones.
Yeah. In London. We are, well, we have, it is a bromance. You call it a bromance?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, sure.
I know
We're good friends, and we've known each other for 10 years, and we've never worked with each other, and it's been such a pleasure, hasn't it?
Yeah, really.
Working together. And we've done all sorts of things. We played squash endlessly. We started playing squash because the characters in the play talk about squash all the time, and I think in the play, Pinter means the squash to be both a thing they do that is part of their friendship, but also as a kind of battleground for their competition and for their egos. And we started in February playing squash. We thought it'd be helpful as research and preparation for the play, but it's given way to us just loving playing squash with each other.
One of the lines I have in the play is I say it's a bit violent squash. And if you look very carefully, you'll see a very nasty bruise.
I have a bruise on my finger.
Okay.
When I got cracked on the knuckles.
I went for the face, but he got his head.
I have to say, the thing that I would worry about you playing, I would be like, aren't you going to injure yourselves before a show? Like, that would
I really hurt my hand. Yeah, it was really
you hurt your hand. He hurt his leg. What I will say is the play genuinely did change after the first time that they played squash together.
Really?
I think you played in the second week of rehearsal or something, and then suddenly we were on. We were ready for Broadway at that point.
Well, you guys also swapped roles for Halloween. You dressed up as Loki, and Tom, you dressed up as Daredevil. So whose idea was this?
I don't know.
Your idea, you know?
Yeah, we sort of,
great idea.
we thought we'd do something for Halloween, and so many people, we go to the stage door every night and sign playbills, and so many people have played with this idea of, you know, is Daredevil having an affair with Loki's wife? We thought we'd do something fun, and what was so silly was sort of dressing each other, you know, making adjustments. Charlie had a special helmet for me to wear as Daredevil, and I was saying, you know, you can wear the costume, but you must make sure you wear the wig as well.
I'll just adjust it just a little bit.
But we had a good time, and then Zowie was Captain Marvel, and
Perfect.
And Eddie Arnold, who plays the waiter, was Captain America. So we were captained on both sides. Yeah.
I mean, how does it feel to have these two superheroes kind of vying for your attention 8 nights a week?
Oh, it's just absolute hell. I mean, we joked actually when we started that it was me that was the only non-superhero in the piece. I mean, that can be changed.
That can be changed.
I'm joking. But it's what it is we've started this play and from the beginning had the most amount of trust in each other that I think it's possible to have between 3-4 actors. The play that we're doing is called Betrayal, but the play behind the scenes is really called Absolute Trust.
Oh.
So to be coming to the end feels extremely surreal and very, very sad.
Yes, what is crazy is that we started rehearsing at the beginning of February, which is in the winter, and it's almost winter again.
Is that winter, February?
February is winter. And we've done over 200 performances, and we only have 40 left.
Yeah.
But they've been special, each and every one of them. We've had such a.
I keep saying this. That we will always remember this as the year of betrayal.
Yeah.
And it's lovely that it really was a calendar year.
Yeah.
2019.
I read the play
Betrayal.
at the beginning of January.
Wow.
Yeah.
For the first time.
Very full circle. Yeah. Well,
Zoe,
I do want to go back to something that you said, which is that you could be a superhero. We actually had Benedict Cumberbatch and Elizabeth Olsen on the couch recently, and they both spoke about an all-female Marvel movie. So thoughts on that?
I think that's a wonderful idea, with me as the lead. Did they mention that?
We'll have to add that in.
This is really great news. I think that's a really great
Fantastic.
idea.
Yeah, Tom, what do you think?
Oh, fantastic! Wonderful, really. I don't have any inside info on that, but that sounds like a tremendous idea. Yeah. What do you think?
Well,
yeah.
Yes, cool. We'll all stand behind this. Well, I do want to ask your thoughts, actually, about some remarks that famed director Martin Scorsese recently made. He said Marvel films aren't cinema, and then he did try to explain his comments. But what did y'all feel about that?
I love Martin Scorsese. I watched his films all my life, and he's one of the greatest filmmakers alive and working today.
Of all time, yeah.
Yeah, of all time. But I mean alive.
Yeah. He's also alive.
All is forgiven for Martin Scorsese.
Well, he can. Everyone's entitled to their opinion.
Sure.
Yeah.
As the new lead in the all-female Marvel, I would just like to say that. I mean, film is escapism, and what's incredible is, again, to be on stage with these two men who have these iconic roles in this universe, and actually theatre is such a leveler, I think. If they couldn't, if they couldn't do it, we wouldn't be here now. And it's just it's such a pleasure just to be able to get back to doing theatre and showing the exact reason that you sort of do this job, because it all comes from in here at the end of the day,
Well, I think that is a lovely note to end our conversation on. Thank you all so much for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You can catch Zawe Ashton, Tom Hiddleston, and Charlie Cox in Betrayal on Broadway between now and December 8th. Up next, there's more AM to DM.